Okay, before I start on this one, I just wanted to say that I watched this one last night, and I also watched the one with Anna versus Dennis. What was it? Yeah, the other day I think. And I read the comments on the one with Anna alone, and yeah, I think a lot of the comments were very unfair to her, criticizing her for being emotional and just being outright abrasive against her. And I think the main context of that debate was the woman's symbol stickers on women's laptops, this love for women. And Dennis strawmanned it, saying that it's just basically them being lonely and needing a man, while I think Anna nailed it when she said that it's mainly a response to America's history of oppression against women, particularly not allowing women to vote. After this, I'll be looking for other videos I want to make. Well, this is not the full one. I think that's for subscribers only or for patrons only or some shit. A bonus episode. I'll see what I can find. I intend to upload other videos, but anyway, getting things going here.
Like you're not in favor of secularism, so I wanted to ask about that. So I never understand what you folks mean when you say we shouldn't be a secular country. Do you think religion should rule us? What do you mean?
I think that we should have a secular government and a religious population, just as the founders did. That's why In God We Trust is one of the three mottos of our country. And we are now seeing the consequences in every area of life of the death of Christianity, and I say this as a religious Jew, the death of the Judeo-Christian value system, the death of the Ten Commandments, and the death of all the things that came with religion.
So much to break down. Okay, first of all, Kyle Kalinske has already pointed out that In God We Trust was only an added insult to injury toward the Soviet Union after the Cold War because of atheistic communism, or godless communism, whatever. Yes, it was one of America's mottos, but not for reasons of God worship, but getting a final word in against communist Soviet Union, which makes the motto completely superficial and pointless. How is the printing of In God We Trust being signed into law a trait of secular government, Dennis? Why would you be in favor of this if you want a secular government amidst a Christian populace? Why do you want a Christian population? This suggests you want national conformity because you agree with Christianity and no valid reason. That's valid? Okay, how is it valid then? This statement alone is really fucked up. This indicates that you don't care what other beliefs people have, or that people don't believe at all. This also indicates that you aren't interested in what's best for the people, in terms of equality, health, stability, and so on, or economics. How has Christianity died, and what consequences of this alleged death are you referring to? Can you prove these consequences are a result of Christianity's death? Is Christianity about accepting and including everybody? And is Christianity about social, economic, scientific, and technological advancement, solving problems and working together? If not, then how is Christianity supposed to work for the entire country, or how does it? I've written a book about Donald Trump, and in it I have covered those Judeo-Christian values. For that reason, I don't really want to talk about it here, but what I'll do here is ask you personally what they are and why you value them. As for the Ten Commandments, how could those socially and economically benefit everybody in the country? Christians preach against murder on the ground that only God is allowed to murder, because he's God, as the fallacy usually goes. But that means they still advocate murder, which isn't much better than preaching against murder. This commandment certainly hasn't prevented murder in America now, has it, Dennis? Conservatives only use this commandment to argue against abortion, not against already adult murderers. If Christianity does promote all of these things, why has it died, as you claim then?
Religion, meaning and community moral absolutes among them.
Someone else has already pointed out that community can come from any aspect of society, which is completely true, obviously. I think Kyle said this. My take on this is how any religious community is good for anybody. I've heard that people are alienated for simply believing differently, even something about that religion. How is that stable and sensible? How does that make for a good community, Dennis? I mean, is that not true? What morals and values do you hold as a religious Jew, and how are those morals and values good? Why is America so fucked up, as most people there are Christian? Remember, you are after a Christian population, as opposed to a secular one, amidst a secular government.
The death of religious values is why we can now say there are more than two sexes, and that we shouldn't call kids boys and girls in schools anymore. We are living in the age of moral and intellectual chaos because of the death of religion.
No.
Okay. Who is claiming there are more than two sexes? And what are those other sexes people are claiming to exist? Male, female, and what? What order is Christianity or those Judeo-Christian values promoting? And how have they developed a properly functioning society?
Okay, so poll just came out.
They didn't say they want to establish a religion. They said they wanted a Christian country. I'd rather have a Christian country than a secular country, and I'm a Jew.
Okay, so help me understand what a Christian country means. Does that mean you establish a religion, Christianity?
No, established. There was never an established.
Okay, I've cut Jenk out because, well, I'm pretty sure everybody's already seen this. If not, go watch it. I'm just doing that. I just did that for the sake of editing this shorter, kind of like long videos. Yeah.
Religion in the country, and Christians aren't for it. I work with Christians. I know I work more with Christians than with Jews.
How is your personal experience valid? Even if you've asked every religious person in America, how can you verify anything? You're going to record every single person? How does that even make America becoming a Christian country good?
Synagogue is Jews, but I work with Christians. I'm at churches all the time. I never heard one of them say, "Let's establish Christianity."
What does it mean?
Just because you say so,
deeply in the separation of church and state.
I don't see that at all, and it's not.
What about Marjorie Greene, Lauren Boebert, Sarah Palin, and other government officials? And what about their supportive pundits here on YouTube? Dennis, what the fuck? The people you work with? Who cares? Nothing.
Not in the poll. 57% said, yeah, we know it's unconstitutional. They mean establish a religion. Now you're trying to make it like that the Republicans don't actually mean that. So what do they mean when they say we want a Christian nation, not like the one that's in the Constitution?
Right. I don't know the constitutional part. This is brand new to me, so I can't comment. I can only tell you that when Christians say they want a Christian nation, they want a nation that is governed by Christian moral principles and not the moral chaos that we see today. And
what moral chaos? I only see and hear religious conservatives whining about transgenders and gays, while they generalize Democrats as pedophiles, communists, and Satanists. All strawmans. None of them can even define what fucking communism is, or at least what they think it is. I've asked Marjorie many fucking times and get her. Nothing! They're also heavily against critical race theory, while they ignore all America's domestic massacring as they scream about fucking gun rights. All the while they want to cancel everything, as they complain about themselves being censored. Alright, fuck it.
I am a supporter of that notion.
Governed means the state,
and
but anyway, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I don't believe in Christ, just for the record. I am not a Christian. And they are not forcing, and they never did force anybody to believe in Christ. Even when they were really in power, they never forced one American to accept Christ. That's a pretty damn good record.
That's because it's not constitutional. You're making it seem like they had the option.
So I want to ask.
Well, wait a minute.
Okay,
wait,
go ahead.
You just said if they have power, you're afraid, correct?
Well, first of all,
Isn't
no,
that
I
the
didn't say
implication
that.
of what you're
But
saying?
no, I didn't say
Okay,
that.
so
But
then I hear you.
Dennis,
Right.
yeah, I'm worried that your dear leader Donald Trump doesn't believe in democracy. He's gonna.
The man was president for 4 years. He was far more open than Joe Biden and the Democrats are, who are using the FBI to suppress dissent and who are.
I'm not exactly sure what they're talking about here, but Jesus was absolutely forced on the people in America. Maybe not by the government, but by families and even friends. The government also enables churches to get away with politics, despite their tax exemptions, which is intended to prohibit that. The government itself also propagandizes with Christianity. As for Donald, I can't really agree with Jank because despite those 4 years, Donald didn't destroy democracy. I even mentioned in my book that I don't understand what Donald was waiting for, as his every action was deviant and shady, but he just never managed to accomplish that, which is what his goal was. Dennis, however, changed the subject by talking about how Donald was more open than Joe, whatever that even fucking means. And the Democrats are using the FBI to suppress dissent. How are they using the FBI to suppress dissent? Are you referring to Donald's recent theft of those classified documents? Wasn't that theft? Why do you approve of such a traitorous action? What does the FBI's intervention have to do with dissent? On the flip side, what about the Republicans and their cancellation crusade against books? There was also a book burning months ago. What the fuck, Dennis?
We're using the New York
Far
Times
more
and
open.
CNN. This is the least free America has been in its history
Dennis.
in terms of free speech and freedom of dissent, and it's because of the Democrats and the left. Trump
If
was in
Obama
office,
had
and you
taken
could say
classified
anything you-
documents from the White House home with him, and if the federal government with the DOJ gave him multiple chances, multiple opportunities to just return the classified top secret documents, and he didn't do it, and that led to a raid, would you be on this show right now providing cover for Obama? I'm genuinely curious. I want you to give me an answer.
If it were part of a systemic use by a Republican government of suppression of Democrats, I would damn well be on this program saying
He
that.
had every opportunity to just
not talking
return
about
the
Trump. I'm
documents,
talking
and he
about-
refused to
talking-
do it.
Okay,
No
yes.
one should be held above the law, in my opinion. I mean,
All this talk about suppressing dissent, I've only been censored a few times in the past, and actually it's been so long ago I can't even remember. I think one, not that it really matters, but another form of censorship I would say is when said politicians, say Marjorie Greene, or said pundits, say Charlie Kirk, ignore comments like mine is a form of censorship. With my experience on Gitter over the past, I guess, year it's been, is I really only bother with Marjorie Greene's page. She never replies to the supporters either, so I don't know. But that's only an observation. I have been blocked by about 5 people so far though, and that would be censorship. They tend to preach threats from or courtesy of Christianity while they also badmouth Democrats, liberals, and lefties, or whatever the fuck they want to call them, and they just block anybody who tries to critically respond to them.
I don't think that should be controversial. I don't care if it's a Democrat, I don't care if it's a leftist, I don't care if it's a Republican. You can't break the law repeatedly and just assume that you're entitled to be treated above the law. Why do you think it's okay to provide cover for criminality like that?
Let me tell you what every one of us who is a conservative believes, knows. There are political prisoners in the United States for the first time in American history, and it's because the left is in power, and there is no instance in the history of the world.
What prisoners are you referring to here, Dennis? And how are they prisoners, let alone political prisoners? Are you referring to the Capitol rioters? If so, what were they doing there if they weren't rioting? And why did they break into the building? Anyway, the rest of this is... there's nothing else here. It just ends. Yeah, that's basically it for this video.